Welcome to this screencast on Rails plugins part 3. Let's look at files created by the plugin generator. As you saw in the previous screencast, we created this using the script uh, plugin command. So let's go ahead and see what they have generated. Users will look at the README file. So for instructions on how to use the plugin in the Rails app. So this is where you can uh, give instruction on what this is about and the example usage. This file can be processed by RDoc tool. For an example, you can take a look at RESTful authentication plugins README file. The next thing is the install.rb. This is in the root of the plugin, as you can see. It will be run once. It can be used to make sure that prerequisites for the plugin are already installed when you install a plugin using script plugin install command. So any dependencies is taken care of and you don't run into problems later on. For instance, you can check if image science is installed in if your plugin has dependency on it. And also like copying files such as HTML, CSS, JavaScripts into the public directory, into the Rails public. If you have JavaScripts, it'll go into these directories here. If you have style sheets, it'll go here into the style sheets, and images would go under the images directory. It just copies them over. Some plugins don't follow this practice and give you reg tasks that you must run to accomplish this, which I think is a bad practice. You should also this install.rb could also be used uh, to install other prerequisite plugins. If a plugin in turn depends on the existence of other plugin, then you can have it here, the code for checking those. The uninstall.rb is also at the root of the plugin. You can add plugin specific rake tasks. I mean, the uninstall is basically for removing any files that was copied to public directory. It undoes whatever the install had done basically. So anything that must be undone before deleting the plugin files must be here. The plugin, the old directory will go away before it goes off. If it leaves anything else in any of these directories, it needs to be cleaned up. And you can add plugin specific rake task to the tasks folder. You have a task folder here. Inside here you can have your own my rake task name dot rake, and you could put your rake task you have in this folder, and this will show up when you do a rake minus t from the Rails app directory. So if you do rake minus t, and it will show up as one of the rake tasks available if you did have a rake task in that directory. To generate documentation uh, for the plugin, you can just cd to that vendor plugins and your plugin directory, and you can just run rake or doc, and that will generate the documentation for the plugin. Rake test, the same directory. If you just do a rake test, this will run the test for the plugin. And the last is the rake file. If you have a rake file, this rake file here, this is used when you operate on the plugin's source files. It must be run from the plugin directory. Rake task under task directory is used as part of the development or deployment of the application. This It will show up when you run Rec-Manage from the Rails app directory, but this thing won't show up. This is very plugin specific tasks going in here. So that's the overview of all the files created by the plugin generator. In the next episode, you'll see more about Rails plugin development. Thank you. And if you enjoyed this screencast, please recommend me on working with Rails.